or good pass rushers, but they couldn't cover for the life of them.
Patrick Queen was great in pass
Patrick
coverage.
Queen
Well,
is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I know. Eventually.
No, but that was this year he was really
He's a
good.
rookie.
As a rookie,
No,
Patrick
he
Queen
was not good.
He was really good for the
pretty good.
Ravens.
Yeah,
He
he
had
was
a pretty
amazing.
bad debut season.
Are you insane?
Welcome to 5280 Real Talk. I'm Gavin Foonberg.
I'm Avi Cohn.
And I'm Alon Schneegel.
Today we have some very interesting topics to cover, so let's get right into it.
This episode's trivia question is, who has the most career rushing touchdowns in NFL history? Your options are LaDainian Tomlinson, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, or Jim Brown. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see if you get it right. Now on to our recent news for this episode. So first, Jordan Reed, the tight end for the Washington football team, he retires due to concussions, problems that he's had over the later years of his career.
You know, I got a question for you about that. Do you think that players are going to start retiring at much younger ages because of this?
I don't think so, because I think we've seen this. We see it periodically where this is the reason that players retire, and this has been going on for like the past 5 or so, or a little bit longer number of years. So, and it's never taken on a surge of players just retiring for that reason.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I kind of saw this coming because Jordan Reed, he was a very good tight end.
He was
at one
injured
point.
a lot, though.
Yeah, but I feel like he was never playing.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite players, one of my favorite tight ends, not players, but he was one of my favorite tight ends in the NFL, but I never got to watch him play, I felt like, because he was just
That's
always
true.
hurt. So I think it's pretty predictable, and I don't think it's going to lead to many more.
Yeah.
But I think things that could lead to that are things that happened with the football player that killed a bunch of people because of his head.
Philip Adams?
Yeah, Philip Adams. I think that if things like that start happening more often, that's when
Yeah.
it becomes a problem.
True. Well, on to our next topic. In recent news, Alex Smith retires after winning Comeback Player of the Year last year, and I don't know. I feel like I wanted to see him play one more year.
Yeah.
You know, he had a great year last year, or he had a great comeback year
Yeah,
last year.
I would say that.
He had a great comeback year last year, and I think he went through 17 surgeries just so he could get back on the field.
Yeah, I think this saddens me because I love his story, and like seeing the video where he like announced to his family that he was gonna be able to play again, like that was inspirational to me. So I think I'm sad to see him go, but I mean he did have 17 surgeries on his leg.
Well, I understand, but he had 17 surgeries to get healthy. So I don't know. I kind of like unless he just wanted to, come
He
back.
was old.
Just wanted to play one more year, but it's almost like he had those 17 surgeries for like no reason.
But he is 36 right now.
He's old.
I also think that he was still, even if it wasn't related to his knee, he was still injured. He couldn't play in the wild card game.
Yeah, but
against
Taylor Heineke played.
And I honestly think the football team could use him for
Veteran reasons.
one more year.
Especially if they get either a quarterback in this draft or if they really want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, they're a team that needs
Taylor
the
Heineke.
quarterback.
Is Taylor Heineke still on the Reds or the football team? Where'd he
He's
go?
not?
I think he actually may be on the roster right now.
Wait, who's their quarterback then?
Dwayne Adams.
No, he's on the Steelers.
Oh yeah,
now.
they released him.
They're probably drafting someone then.
Yeah.
Planning on drafting someone.
They are probably planning on drafting someone. So yeah, they could probably still use Alex
veteran
Smith.
experience, like the Chiefs did for Mahomes.
Yeah, even if he's not starting, you could still give some tips off the bench.
Right now it's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
And Taylor Heineke's second.
They did sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. So maybe he brings veteran experience
That's
too.
true.
And he'll win
That's
you some
true.
games no matter what. So
He will. I love Fitzmagic.
It's magic.
All right.
I have a question for you guys, and it kind of relates to yesterday's NBA game between the Suns and the Bucks.
Yeah.
Where the game ended on a foul call that
We'll
was
get to that.
very iffy. We'll get more on that play. But are the NBA refs too soft this year?
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not just this year. It's been happening for the last couple of years, and it really infuriates me because the game has changed so much from when Jordan was playing and all these other
100%.
greats. And it's just I can't watch an NBA game anymore. There's so many stoppages.
It's just
you'll see James Harden score 20 points on free throws.
Yeah.
On free throws. It's I don't like it. It's not
Neither
fun to
do
watch.
Okay, I think that on that specific play, I'll get my thoughts on that a little bit later, but I think that the problem isn't that they're calling too many fouls on the floor. I think the problem this year is with the technical fouls. What has been happening with the technical
Like
fouls
Luka
this
got
year,
a technical for saying and one.
Luka happened, Montrezl Harrell did the same
Yeah.
thing. I remember-
Draymond got a
gets
technical for yelling at his
breathing.
teammate.
Yeah, Draymond gets a technical for probably just walking on the court. I
No,
mean,
legit, he got a technical
yeah,
for like.
I know he yelled at James Wiseman.
Yeah.
And so I think that refs are kind of power tripping. If they get their feelings hurt, it's technical foul, technical foul, technical foul.
Yeah.
Also, is on to technical fouls. Like, this could really hurt the Magic, or I mean the
Mavericks.
Mavericks.
Like, he's what 5 technicals away until he has to
A suspension. Yeah.
I mean, that happened to Draymond Green, and personally, if Draymond Green didn't get a technical in that championship, game 4 was it?
Game 5.
Game 5.
No, I think it was game
No.
4 and he was suspended for game 5.
Yeah, suspended for game 5. I don't think they would have come back 3-1.
Yeah. in
It completely
2016.
threw them off.
I think they're just like refs are too soft. Like I think they're just too soft. I don't know how else to describe it.
I agree.
It's just ridiculous how you can't talk to them anymore. You can't argue a call, and I agree it shouldn't be aggressive arguing.
Yeah.
You'll even see technicals for players like civilly trying to
Argue.
prove their point. And
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous because it takes away passion from the game. And the worst part about it is that even for completely obvious blown technical foul calls, there's absolutely no punishment for
Yeah.
the game.
All right. Now into our play breakdown for the ending of the Suns vs Bucks game.
Thank you, Avi. Welcome to our play breakdown. We got 13 seconds left in the Suns-Bucks game. Devin Booker got the ball looking to take one final shot to win the game, but Drew Holiday is playing tough defense. I like it. Cutting off the man. Devin Booker goes right and steps back. Debatable push-off, probably not, but they call a foul. They called a foul on the game-winning shot. You've got to be kidding me. This is absolutely blasphemous. I mean, it's not like there's a whole other quarter to go. They called a foul on the game-winning shot to give Devin Booker a chance to go to the line where he makes the free throw and wins the game. Thank you for listening to our play breakdown.
All right, Gavin, thank you for the play breakdown. That was a crazy play in the NBA, and I think it was a terrible call, and we can't have calls like that or else basketball is going to become way too soft. But now let's move on to our bold takes, and we're doing an NFL draft edition for this bold takes. So my bold take is that Kyle Pitts will be the best player in the draft. And I say this because he's built almost identically to Megatron. He's 6'6". He ran a 40-yard dash, 4.44 to be exact. And he weighs 240, and that's almost the same build as Megatron. He has the longest wingspan of any receiver in 20 years, or tight end, receiver or tight end. I think he just has all the tools, and he has so much skill. I think he's going to be, in 3 to 5 years, the best player out of this draft class and a top tight end in the league, for sure.
I agree that he'll be a top player in the league in 3 to 5 years to come. However, I don't disagree with this statement. I just don't completely agree because there's so much football to be played, and I think that unless he gets drafted by the Falcons, where he's projected to go in the mock drafts, could be getting double covered in his first year, which could really throw him off.
Most teams have a good receiver that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
but
not.
would you worry
You're
about
not gonna
a
double-
Megatron clone or Robbie Anderson?
Okay, I think that even they're not going to double team a rookie coming into the
Yeah.
league. I don't think they're going to do that. And if he becomes a force dominant enough to be double teamed, that'll help his team a lot. And I think that first he needs to prove himself, and he will prove himself. And tight end or middle linebackers are too slow for him. And
The thing is, I think this is one of the more talented drafts, and just not necessarily talented, but physically gifted drafts we've seen in a while. Not a while, but it's a very talented draft and physically talented draft. For instance, Trevor Lawrence. He is huge, strong, and he's incredibly talented. Justin Fields is big, strong, incredibly talented. It's too hard to say that he's going to be the top player in the draft.
I
Okay.
agree, but I think there's no one that is this NFL ready.
Yeah, I also
Trevor
think
Lawrence isn't this NFL
And
ready?
Trevor
Okay.
Lawrence is an exception,
The
but I still
reason-
think he'll be better than
I agree with you, but for different reasons. I agree with you because I think if you were to compare a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields to Kyle Pitts, who's a tight end, I think there's way more room. There's way more potential for quarterbacks, but there's also way more of a floor for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I think tight ends, there's not as big of like a fallout if they're absolutely terrible. For quarterbacks, like the pressure's put on a quarterback
True.
right when he gets drafted. Even if he's still like a backup, and he's learning from an older quarterback.
Well, then the second he goes in,
yeah,
he's
the
not
second he
back
goes
up.
in.
All the pressure's
But
on
with
him.
Kyle Pitts, he's a tight end. He'll be able to kind of work
Plus-
his way and
Plus, he
find his role.
has a decent quarterback throwing to him, or if
He
he
will.
if he goes to the
Falcons. In Matt
I think
Ryan.
the fact that a tight end is projected to go this high just shows how talented he
Yeah,
is.
that's true. Because tight ends, I mean, it's one thing if it were like a corner or a safety or a linebacker, but a tight end projected 4th in the draft, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, I think he's super talented. I think he's going to be a top player, maybe even the best tight end in the league in about 3
At
to
one
5
point.
years. Yeah.
All right, now on to my bold take. So out of the top quarterbacks in this draft, being Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Trevor Lawrence, those guys, I think that Trevor Lawrence will be the worst out of those QBs if you down the line as you compare their careers
Oh my god.
when it's all said and done.
Are you
Obvious.
serious right? No, you have to be, you're trolling, right?
No, I'm serious.
You don't actually believe
I do.
this. Are you kidding me?
You're kidding.
This is the most NFL
That you
ready.
just named. Okay, what is one of your reasons because he's on Clemson and he may look better on a good team than.
That is one of our
Okay, that's
reasons.
one of your reasons, right?
Yeah.
So why is Mac Jones not? Mac Jones is
the
way
definite-
worse,
Mac Jones is,
talented wise, and physically.
and he had Jalen Waddle and
And he-
Devontae Smith on his team.
the best wide receivers in the league on his team, and he still was worse than Trevor Lawrence.
I think Mac Jones he was easily worse than Trevor Lawrence in college, but I think he'll grow to be a better NFL quarterback than Trevor
The
Lawrence.
literal best Alabama quarterback ever is freaking AJ McCarron. And this is he's going to be the same as AJ McCarron because Alabama is not known for their quarterbacks.
I don't think AJ McCarron is the best Alabama quarterback ever.
and
Joe Namath,
Maybe not
Kent
ever.
State
Not
winner.
ever, but in recent times.
Okay.
So I think that Mac Jones is going to be easily the worst out of these 5. I think he's going to be a huge bust. And even Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, I think Trevor Lawrence is a lock to be the
at
best.
least top 2.
At least top 2. And I think Trevor Lawrence is almost guaranteed to be.
I'll list you my top 3, and not in order. I have Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
There,
I agree.
and I don't think there's any way that,
I
and
may have
maybe
Trey
Trey
Lance.
Lance.
I may have
Okay,
Trey
but
Lance.
the point is, Mac Jones is going to be the worst. They're
I just think
okay.
it's
The point
ridiculous.
is, Trevor Lawrence is not going to be the worst.
Trevor
That's not
Lawrence
happening.
is the most NFL-ready
People are
quarterback
talking
going
about-
into the NFL that I think I've ever seen.
People are talking about he's going to be the next best quarterback in the league.
Okay, great. People are talking about that. People talk about it all the time.
No, yeah, you're right, but it's different with Trevor Lawrence. They
How
talk
is it
about
different?
how he could be next up. He could be, but for this it's he is.
I just don't understand how you could possibly think that even if Mac Jones turns out to be a good quarterback, I don't know how you could say that Trevor Lawrence is going to be worse than all of these. Not for sure. I know you're not saying for sure, but that you think that he's going to be the worst out of these 5, and I think that is a ridiculous take.
Okay, I have 2 examples for you. In 2006, 2 quarterbacks come out of the draft. Matt Leinart at USC. That was a USC team that literally won national championships. I don't know how many years in a row, but it was more than one. And Vince Young, who beat that team and played for Texas, they were both the top 2 quarterbacks in that draft. Both horrible busts in the NFL.
But you're not talking. You're not.
Yeah,
even
you're not
saying-
talking about 2 quarterbacks though. You're talking about 5.
But at the same time, you're also not even talking about him being a bust. You're talking about him being the worst one. So a lot of things have to be to go.
Not the worst quarterback in the draft. The worst
I know,
out of these
5. So for your take to be right, you have to have one of the. In my opinion, Trevor Lawrence is almost guaranteed to at least be a solid starting quarterback for his career. That is his floor, in my opinion, and unless he gets injured. And I think that for the rest of these guys, their floor is bench warmer after 1 year.
For the rest of them.
That's their floor.
Their floor.
I'm not saying that that's what they're going to be.
I don't
So-
think you can say that Trevor Lawrence's floor is a solid starter.
Okay, Trevor Lawrence's floor is a good backup.
I still think that Trevor Lawrence, I think there's so much, you said this yourself, people are talking about that he could be next. The amount of pressure
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to hurt him is his pressure.
But even
The
pressure,
only
I don't
thing-
think you can point out pressure. Pressure doesn't.
Why can't you
Big
play pressure?
big players are good in pressure.
I completely agree, but how do you know that he's a big player?
Because we saw him play at Clemson.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Well, what are you about to say?
He's mobile. He can throw the ball. He's big. He's tough. Like, there's nothing against him. The literal only thing that could hurt him is injuries, in my opinion.
Injuries. And if he gets injured, yeah, he might be the worst out of these 5. But I don't think that's a fair assumption. If anyone gets injured, they could be the worst.
I mean, look, in college, like, he won 2 national championships, but college is different than the NFL. Way different.
Obviously.
Okay, and you could say that about
Why do you think
literally
every
any other
Why do you think
quarterback in this
every
draft.
Alabama quarterback isn't good in the NFL currently?
I mean,
Even though they win the national
I
championship,
think Tua's pretty good right now.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
Tua is good. He got benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick in key games last year.
That's because Ryan Fitzpatrick is way more experienced. It was a smart move for them to make.
Yeah, because
but
Tua
if he
wasn't
was
playing well.
good,
That's why it was
if he was good, he wouldn't be getting benched.
I
I don't
agree.
see Mahomes getting benched because it was his first year playing.
Yeah.
He.
Tua
in
cannot-
Mahomes' first year, he played 2 games.
Tua can't
No,
throw the ball.
and it's not in the year that he was behind Alex Smith where he didn't play at all. The year that he was MVP.
Well, that's because no one else was there. In Miami, Ryan Fitzpatrick was there.
Ryan
And
Fitzpatrick.
you're saying Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's a reason why he's bounced around the league and been on every single team in the league.
Okay. Like, he's not an amazing quarterback. I'm not saying Ryan Fitzpatrick
Yeah,
is
I know, exactly. So why would they rather put a decent quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick
Tua's
over
an
a very
Let's get
good
this straight.
Tua?
Let's get this straight.
Experience.
Tua is not a good quarterback. He can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
I think that Tua, I don't think, yes, maybe a little bit of it was skill, but I think the most important reason why Tua got benched for Fitzpatrick was because of experience.
No,
reasons.
and because they were losing to the
They were losing to the
games.
Raiders horribly, and then they benched Tua, and guess what happened? Oh, they come back, and they win the game.
Because Tua doesn't have experience in those situations.
That's not
in the NFL.
experience. That's just
That's a
not
regular
being-
season
not being
game.
able
How
to
do you think
win.
he
Yes,
started-
but they needed to make a playoff push.
Exactly,
Every-
and Tua can't carry them to that because he's not a good
He's
quarterback.
a rookie.
Yeah, he might be a good quarterback eventually. Currently, he's not a good quarterback. That's obvious. Whatever. I guess Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next Ryan Leaf, and
I did not say right.
Trevor Lawrence is gonna be Dwayne Haskins.
Johnny Manziel out of the league in 2 years.
W.
Johnny Manziel is not out of the league in 2 years.
Like four. Like four.
Is he gonna eat the W's before the game?
All right, Gavin, what's your bold take? Please make it not be as
All right.
terrible as obvious.
I think Micah Parsons is incredibly overrated. All right, before you guys have anything to say, he's definitely a great linebacker. He's not a linebacker, but he's great on the line in rushing the
He's a
quarterback.
linebacker.
He is a
Or-
linebacker.
oh, he is a linebacker, but my bad. But he can't do any pass coverage whatsoever.
I
In
agree.
his career at Penn State, he had 5 total breakups. He had 0 interceptions.
Okay, I think that pass coverage for linebackers, it is a very important thing.
100%.
I think, though, that I think that can be taught
No,
very
but-
easily.
Okay, you're right. It can be taught, but he's also had very little experience. He only had he was only in man coverage for 64 of his snaps in total.
Okay, but how is that his fault?
I agree.
But I'm not saying it's his fault, but I'm saying he has no experience, and you can't just go from a never playing man coverage or rarely playing man coverage in college and not being good at it
Okay, but
to being good at it in the NFL.
How is he
and playing
still-
every snap in man coverage or a lot of snaps in man coverage?
I think you can.
No, you can't.
you can learn it.
Not
But-
in your first couple years. Yeah, you can learn it, but it's
Yeah.
gonna take time, and that's why he's overrated.
But there has to be a reason why he's projected to be like a mid-first round pick.
Yeah, because he's great on the line.
I agree. I think he's really good
I don't
on the
think
line.
that's it though. I think another trait for linebackers. We saw
And I'm
this-
sure, yes, and everyone just doesn't want to point out that that's his
No,
only flaw.
But when Roquan Smith was coming out of the draft, the biggest thing for him was his sideline to sideline speed. That is a huge thing for linebackers, and Micah Parsons has that. And
Okay, but going into whether he can learn it or not in practice, it's not like he's just gonna get it right away. It takes time, and
duh.
yeah, exactly.
I
That's
think
why
all
he's
rookies,
overrated.
all rookies have something to learn.
Yeah,
but
no.
I do think he's slightly overrated because his pass coverage is not really there. But I think he's going to be a solid player and maybe borderline star at some point in his career. I don't think he's overrated. He's a little bit overrated.
I think he's a little overrated.
At
Mid
the
first round
moment-
pick when he's losing when he doesn't have half the game.
At the
down.
moment, I think he's...
I mean, I don't usually see mid first round picks that have that big of a flaw. He has shown no hope.
I think currently he's a little overrated, but down the line, I think he'll...
Okay, for example,
Prove why.
Jordan Brooks, Kenneth Murphy, and Patrick Queen all had the same type of issue. Good linebackers or good pass rushers, but they couldn't cover for the life of them.
Patrick Queen was great
Yeah,
in pass
Patrick
coverage.
Queen
well,
is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I know. Eventually,
No, but that was this year he was really
As a
good.
rookie.
As a rookie,
no,
Patrick
he
Queen
was not good.
He was really
He was
good for the
pretty good,
Ravens.
yeah.
He
He
had
was
a pretty
amazing.
bad debut season.
Are you insane? No, you
did.
did not just say Patrick
Oh,
Queen
no,
had
no,
a bad
no, no.
debut season.
Now, this is not even an opinion, Gavin. This is facts. Like, he just had good...
He was
had a
their
good
linebacker.
Yeah, and
Oh,
If you're
my
a
God.
team's leading linebacker as a rookie,
Okay.
that is not a bad
Just
debut
debatable,
season.
but Jordan-
Listen, just
That's not
Just
debatable.
admit you're wrong and move on.
never mind. But okay, Jordan Brooks and Kenneth Murphy had not great seasons.
Kenneth.
Oh wait, Kenneth.
All right. That's fair, but I think he might be more of a project. And I don't think you're overrated if you're not great immediately into the NBA or NFL. And I think that he'll be good eventually. So,
Okay, but I still think he's not a first round pick, mid first round pick,
well, that's what you think.
and that's why he's overrated.
Overrated. Maybe. He might be overrated. I don't think he is, though.
All right. That'll wrap it up for bold takes. Now on to the answer to the trivia question that you've been waiting for the episode. The question being, who has the most career rushing touchdowns in NFL history? Your options were LaDainian Tomlinson, Walter Payton, Emmett Smith, and Jim Brown. And the correct answer was Emmett Smith. So if you got it right, congratulations. If you didn't, stay tuned to the next episode to get it right.
Thanks for listening to episode 5 of 5280 Real Talk. I think we're gonna have one out on Friday. Thank you.
And we're also on Spotify now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we are on Spotify now, and YouTube obviously, and Instagram. So follow. Oh, and TikTok. So follow us on every single one of those.
At 5280 Real Talk.
Yep. Thank you.